teams begin to fall, as the teams begin to fall, what has been a wild round one is nearly over. But boy, it has been special. Since the last video, things haven't slowed down a bit. The bone-crushing hits just keep coming. The fans are now out of control. The intermissions are out of control.
I'm not a carpenter, but I carry around a hammer. Anyway, go on.
And the alien species that are NHL goalies are now spreading to the players. And of course, we also got some fantastic player moments.
He spun his way into a good spot to cooperate as he went to...
And so, as we did last week, how about we start with the nasty? Because these guys are going at it. And at the end of the first Islanders-Canes overtime in Game 4, tempers got a bit heated. But listen to this.
Period.
Hockey chirps are brutal. Then we also got the Empire State Building again, this time Van Riemsdyk the victim as he got crushed. And then Orlov hitting Cizikas so hard he knocked down his own teammate. And one I missed last week was Mason Marchment on White Cloud, who was absolutely obliterated, as was Yossi by Zadorov.
Play on the road. He's asked you lightly in the...
And these playoffs are so physical that the Panthers started hitting each other during warmups. Then after what was a blowout in Game 3, Lowry trying to set a tone, and look, Lowry's the last guy I'd call a turtle, but when the jersey got over his head, that's all I could see here. Over in LA, a big hit at center ice as Engelland catching Kane watching the puck led to a third period scrum, where Desharnais had his hands full with both Byfield and Kopitar. That or he's just got so much love to give. Either way, Kopitar was not happy about it, and Draisaitl hit him with the, "Aw, did he make you cry?" But taking a break from the angry hockey players. Oh, what's that? What do you see? Ah, just a sweep that we all saw coming a mile away. The only sweep of the first round, and it wasn't even close. The Caps led for all of 2 minutes in the second game, and in Game 3, just the second time they scored the first goal, they led for all of 44 seconds. And that was it. That was the entire duration of this series that they even led a game. And in what was the elimination game, Jensen with the assist gives it up not a minute in, which about summed up this entire series, in which Ovi was completely held off the board. And speaking of eliminations, what now? What is it? Oh, my, how? Freaking Wolverine? It was! Mikhail Sergachev, after brutally breaking his leg just 80 days ago, somehow made his return, and while it worked for a game, Game 5 of this series was not pretty. And we should have known they were cursed after this one in Game 3, where a falling Hagel went offside and this goal was called back. Because facing elimination, Hedman shot, rebound, and they scored. A huge opening goal, Cirelli going to the net, got him on the board, but Declare, fighting with being held by the defender, got his skate in the blue paint, and this was overturned. All right, no problem. You've got Mr. Wolverine. So down 2-1, it's Sergachev from way back to tie this game up. And not so quick. The official immediately waved it off again for, you guessed it, Cirelli interfering with Bobrovsky.
Date now on Bump.
Not prison rules for the goalie. We might as well put skirts on him then.
So with brutal luck all series, instead of a tied game, Barkov would make it 3-1, and the rest was history. But look, at least they kept it classy in the handshake line, because in the AHL this week, Clifford went after Boko Imama. The disrespect. Anyway, from here, how about we give the goalies some love, yeah? Once again, we had Anderson making some beauty stops, as here, down but not out, it's a 90s throwback as he stares down Lee like a boss and says, Draw me like one of your French girls. Here's Talbot with an unbelievable ability to track the puck and says, so good, even the Oilers had to acknowledge it. Then in Washington, it's Igor, the contortionist, who keeps one out with a big stop, keeping it out with the pad. Over in Vegas now, it was Thompson with a great initial stop, but going to his left, he's somehow able to stretch out and grab the rebound attempt. And the goalies were so good, even the players wanted in on it, as Stamkos with a beautiful stop here. And then with the Smith down and out, it's Ian Cole using the old noggin to keep one out. But it's not all fun and games though, as in New York, after Sorokin let in the third on 13 shots, he was yanked and stayed in the tunnel the entire rest of the period with his equipment still on. Safe to say, no one likes a sad goalie. But how about we cheer it up a bit with a goalie hug? Oh, you wanted the mini-sized version? Well, here you go. And how about we take a trip down memory lane? You remember that Jets chant at home?
They're chanting, pull the goalie here in Winnipeg.
Well, they got their wish. I just don't think they meant their own goalie, as my goodness, not only did we get this absolutely ridiculous goal from Makar, the Avs have seemingly broken Hellebuck so bad that they pulled him at the start of the third in Game 4. The Winnipeg frauds, as they ought to be called, have completely fallen apart defensively and have already allowed 4 goals in a period twice this series, something they didn't do throughout the entire regular season, as Nichushkin here scored his first Hattie on what appeared to be an empty net, but you tell me, does it make a difference? And over in Toronto, this was a shot of one bench. And then here is a shot of the other, as we had a complete meltdown with Marner getting the brunt of it online. And this is a real look at the Leafs locker room during intermission. And look, I'm not saying that this was a live look of Maple Leaf Square, but with Sportsnet already calling this series after that game, it's them making a mockery of Leafs fans even showing up. All right, I'm a Pens fan. I'm not allowed to talk. I get it. But how about we hit some quick ones? We had Draisaitl out there deking out everyone, including the refs. In Nashville, it was Pettersson caught up in the Predselli who got run over as accidentally on purpose as that may have been. And both games in Nashville, we had whiskers all over the ice before we even got puck drop, as it was catfish galore. But check out this. Ali Walker chugging a beer from one. Maybe the start of Pandemic 2024 edition? Hockey is just different, man. As Taylor Lewan downed one as well, and then his little girl got on it as she downed some water. What a beautiful sport. Now, they also brought back that tradition of painting the opposing logo on a car and smashing it, but this is pretty weak, no? If this was in Vancouver, it'd be flipped over and on fire by now. Then we had Hagel sharing a cool moment with a fan. We had Marchand trying to win over some Leafs fans, and when in Vegas, Dadonov pulled off his best magic trick, as how in the hell did this go in? Here we got a quick look at Islanders hockey.
Still no stoppage.
And then Igor again, horned up, went for the goalie goal in the playoffs. Imagine how sick that would have been.
It sounded like it was 94.
Having said that, not all goalies would have went for it.
You know, not trying to be too horny for, scoring more than what you need. So we got what we needed, and that was it.
And with that, how about we show some of the character from guys this week?
You got real good wood on that puck out of midair. That
Kopitar almost couldn't keep it together. And then after Mark Spector called Kane a distraction earlier in these playoffs, Kane decided to get back at him.
Makes you play your best hockey this time of year.
Just the drama of it all. Just brings the best out of me.
As Hyman had to keep it together. And then we got whatever this was from PK.
I'm not a carpenter, but I carry around a hammer. Anyway, go on.
Come on, dude. So inappropriate. I mean, this is a family show. Now, we've seen how Zach Hyman scores his goals, front of the net. But imagine if we had Shaq Hyman. This was hilarious, as he came onto the set of TNT for some demos, and look at how hilariously big he is compared to Henrik.
But I carry around a hammer.
Speaking of hammers, let's get back to the feistiness a bit. We had Doughty just crushing Hyman, and you'd think from hits like this that guys might cower it away a bit. But
Me personally, I thought the parent hit was good. I think I love that. I think that's the way it should be called when you get through someone's body.
that's right. This is hockey, baby. Over in that Dallas-Vegas series, it has been brutal. Ben nearly taking a spill here. McNabb with a wild hit on Stankoven, the rookie, which was answered by Ben absolutely erasing McNabb. And yeah, it's been a wild series that is now tied up at 2. And you may be asking, what is Wall looking at here? Well, I think he's trying to find some fans as they were leaving with plenty of time left. Oh, you don't think it's enough time? Well, how about that crazy comeback in Nashville? After the Preds had it all but in the bag, all they had to do was hold on. And the Canucks got one. Well, okay, still a long shot though, right? Yeah, sure enough, Sissons to seal it, and he hit the post. The stuff that nightmares are made of as the game stayed alive. And after Hughes absolutely sent Nyquist to another planet, of course they would. With 8 seconds remaining, the Canucks tied it up to force overtime, where it was just a minute in and they would take the game to absolutely rob Nashville at home. This after Vancouver beat Nashville in the prior game with just 12 shots on goal. I mean, you almost got a feel for him here. But yeah, that's about it for what was another wild week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
The thing about him is, right, he's an idiot, but
New on Hulu.
Everything is connected.
How can you?
I gotta say, going into the third period and going into overtime, I did not think the Leafs would be walking out of this one with a win. I thought we were witnessing the last game ever called by Jack Edwards.
Kazari is the first official to exit the ice. Cowards!
But no such luck. I'm joking, kind of. Pretty easy game to cover from a goal standpoint. There were 3 goals. The goal the Leafs scored, the goal the Bruins tied with, and the eventual game winner. This was a battle of the goalies, and Joseph Woll came out big for the Leafs, and I'm left wondering what this series would look like had he started game 1. But as I mentioned, I didn't think this one was going to go the way Leafs fans wanted, and for one simple reason: Swayman. Well, Woll was good. I thought Swayman was even better. The Bruins honestly felt like they were on their heels for most of the game. The Leafs were getting lots of consistent ozone pressure, although I will give the Bruins some credit. They were mostly keeping the Leafs away from the center of the ice. However, Toronto was really committing. I honestly thought the Bruins were going to get a bounce, go the other way, and score a goal. The Leafs had like the most horrendous 2-on-1 near the end of the third. Domi, I mean, I don't know. He did not handle that well. Probably should have looked off the pass than shot. But I mean, the big story with Leaf forwards, obviously Auston Matthews. If you've been living under a rock, Matthews didn't play tonight. We don't know why. We probably will not until maybe after the playoffs. Initially, the hockey rumor guys were saying it was due to an illness. Friedman came out during, I think, the first intermission to say he thought it was something else, presumably some sort of injury. I thought the rest of the forward core looked pretty good today. Leafs fans were complimenting Marner's play. I don't know, like to me, he wasn't clearly bad or invisible like he has been other points in this series, but there wasn't a whole lot that made me say wow either. And the team as a whole did feel a bit toothless without Matthews and his shot, especially on the power play. And I mean, the power play has been beyond dreadful all series, so not ideal if he's going to miss Game 6 and potentially Game 7. Can the Leafs take this series? Of course they can. It's 3-2. Anything can happen. And I do think this game could restore some hope. I mean, the Leafs, I thought, did well possession-wise. Obviously, they dominated face-offs and shot attempts. The one thing they've been missing all series is finishing. Everything else felt dialed in this game, so I guess we'll see. Let me know your thoughts, of course, on all this and more down below.
Spring into savings this moving season with Pods. Save up to 25% now.
Man, the way things are shaping up, it's looking like Vancouver and Edmonton might be the only two Canadian teams left by round 2, and as fate would have it, if that ends up being the case, they're going to play each other. One thing I want to do now, though, is tip my hat to a guy who's had a challenging year thus far, but is bouncing back in a big way so far in the playoffs, Elias Lindholm. The guy starts out the year in Calgary, trade rumors following him everywhere. Is he staying or is he going? What's happening with him? Is he going to Boston? Is he going to Colorado? Finally, he gets dealt to Vancouver, where it's like, okay, the trade rumors are going to subside for a little bit now. You can just play your game, Elias, and not worry about that. But then around deadline time, thanks to the Canucks being linked to Jake Gensel, the Lindholm rumor mill started to fire up again. Once that came and went, and apart from his 2 goals in his Vancouver debut, his start with the Canucks wasn't that great, coupled with Kuzmenko lighting the lamp and quickly becoming a fan favorite in Calgary, you started to really hear the word overpay associated with this trade. Honestly, since the beginning, when people first saw and started reacting to the return, I feel like I was seeing that everywhere. Oh, what an overpay by the Canucks. And I want to make this clear. At the time, and now even more, I love this trade for the Calgary Flames. I think Conroy did a phenomenal job managing an expiring asset, and honestly, I applaud him for it. But at the time of the trade, I said this, and I still feel this way.
I know there's only Lindholm going over to the Canucks, but hey, sometimes one big piece like that is what can push you over the edge. I'd be careful before saying, oh, the Canucks got fleeced, Flames win this trade big time, overpay. If Vancouver goes to the 3rd round, Stanley Cup final, and Lindholm contributes to that, that's all the Canucks can ask for in a season where they're clearly trying to make some serious playoff noise.
The Canucks got this guy for the playoffs. They went and got this guy so he could score big goals for them when it matters most. If you were to ask them, would you rather take 15 regular season goals where the Canucks are already first in the conference versus 3, 4, 5 key goals in big playoff games? The answer is clear, and he's stepping up for them when they actually need him. He scored the playoff icebreaker for the team. It was the first playoff goal for the Canucks at Rogers Arena in 9 years. And then there's that OT winner that caps off a massive comeback in Nashville to take a 3-1 series lead back to Vancouver where you can win this series in front of your fans. That's huge, man. That's worth like 10 regular season goals. Not to mention the momentum and confidence it builds through the team as they progress through the playoffs. Think of the Panthers with a huge comeback upset over the Bruins last year, down 3-1 in the series. I'm not saying the Canucks are the Panthers from last year, nor am I saying that they're underdogs in this series. I'm just saying these types of wins, they can build some serious momentum. And look, maybe it still is an overpay, depending on what happens with Kuzmenko, what Brustevich turns into, even what the first round pick turns into. But so many people are so quick to judge a trade winner and loser right away without even factoring in why a certain team might have made a trade. And look, I get that. That's part of being a fan. I literally do that. I should get off my high horse. But I really think this one's turning into a great example of, hey, for trades that involve rentals, at least wait till the playoffs. I'm happy for Lindholm, especially after the season he's had this year. And man, I can't say enough about that comeback the other day. It literally had the entire hockey world electrified. It was a ton of fun to watch. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments down below. And wait, we'll see what happens tonight. Game 5 should be a fun one to watch. You've been asking for more Canucks content. I've been trying to cover them more regularly. Let me know what else you'd like to see. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.